It made you see things, didn't it? Things you didn't want to see.
It spoke to me.
And what did it say, Isaac? What did it say to you, Isaac? Isaac, can you hear me?
Dead Space 2 is not meant for children. And we don't mean that in the, "Oh, won't someone please think of the children" kind of way. We mean more that it's meant for adults specifically, and that's why we love it here at Elder Geek. Well, the game isn't that frightening. Some of the scenes within Dead Space 2 will probably upset most children, and even some squeamish adults. Thinking through our years of gaming, we can't think of another game that will let you re-kill a dead baby with the head of another reanimated dead baby. There's something disturbingly fantastic about that. And if someone forced us to categorize Dead Space 2, we wouldn't call it a survival horror game. That genre is owned by games like Silent Hill 2 and Amnesia. Instead, it feels more suiting to call it an action thriller or a suspense action shooter. No matter what you call it, Dead Space 2 is one of the goriest games we've played in a long time. And for a shooter, it actually provides a decent amount of game time within the single-player portion. Isaac wakes up in a straitjacket inside a hospital after having been unconscious for an unknown amount of time, and his first encounter with a human is instantly killed and transformed into a necromorph, the zombie-like villains from the original Dead Space. As he tries to escape, he's aided by mysterious strangers through his rig's communication system, and bit by bit, he pieces together the story and tries to escape the infected space station. In terms of story, there's really not much to say. Most of the radio communications break down to, "You need to head to point A and watch out for the necromorphs along the way." "Point A, are you sure?" "Yes, point A, and hurry!" And then you're off to point A to clear out some bad guys and solve some light puzzles. That's not a complaint about the story. It's enough to keep you exploring the spooky hallways and counting your ammunition supply. Dead Space 2 is all about the action and the gore. The action, we are happy to report, is fast, furious, and goopy. For those of you who aren't familiar with Dead Space's fighting mechanics, necromorphs only die when their limbs are removed, so aiming for the head and body is actually a bad idea. They can be cut off with your mining tools, or if you knock your enemy to the ground, they can be stomped off. Dead Space 2 is actually a lot harder than the original. There are more enemies, they come at you faster, and truthfully, we found ourselves dying a lot more this time around too. Which we didn't mind, because some of Isaac's death animations are almost as entertaining to watch as the rest of the game. There is no regenerating health, and ammunition is in short-ish supply, depending on your aim. It's wise to stomp on all of your enemies at least once after they die. They're like Cracker Jack boxes, and each one has a prize inside, whether it be for health or ammunition for one of your many incredibly cool weapons. Your weapons and armor are also upgradable at workbenches found throughout the space station by using power nodes that you find during your quest. Basically, Dead Space 2 has everything that was great about the original Dead Space, but this time around it sports better graphics, more weapons, more armor suits, a tougher challenge, and slightly more responsive controls. The zero-gravity sections are outstanding, and our only complaint is that there isn't enough fighting done in zero-G. Not everything about the game is better, though. One thing that really never sat well with us is the fact that Isaac speaks in this game. In fact, he probably talks too much. We preferred the mystery behind the character that the original created. This Isaac is too chatty, and he's constantly seeing visions of his dead girlfriend. Some of the charm from the original is also lost because you know exactly what makes necromorphs tick. The single-player campaign is quite lengthy. We feel that as a standalone product, it's well worth a full-priced purchase. Once you complete the game, you can start a new Game Plus mode with new armors and continue to upgrade your equipment on a harder difficulty. Put all that together and you have a lot of replay value for a single-player game. Dead Space 2 also features a multiplayer mode. It is highly reminiscent of Left 4 Dead as one team plays as necromorphs and the other plays as humans. Playing as the different necromorph types actually adds a fair amount of variety in the multiplayer modes. Fair warning to anyone who is looking to rent Dead Space 2, EA requires an online code, which comes free with the purchase of a new copy of Dead Space 2. But if you're looking to only rent the game, you may need to buy one from EA. Happily, EA will allow you to play for 2 days for free. After 2 days, you'll probably know for yourself whether or not you'd like to pay for the full service. We can easily recommend Dead Space 2 for both rental and for purchase. Just be sure to keep the kids away from the screen.